lovely slide?
Yeah, I just put it together, so hopefully it's still correct. But I thought that as a full group, we would first talk about FBLA Connect because we have to do that first, and then we would do Blue Panda. Perhaps Jen can jump in. Obviously, registration for regionals isn't open yet, so it's hard to build a demonstration with that. Pretty easy. We would talk about fees and shipping, chaperone policy, things like that, and then if need be, we'd split off into separate middle school and high school groups. Given the small crowd, I don't see that being necessary tonight, but we'll try to cover a little bit of everything. All right, I also did these slides. So if there's grammar errors, I own them. So for FBLA Connect, you have to log in and create your account. So you can, there's a lot in FBLA Connect, but the bare minimum bones that we need to do is we need to get our members in FBLA Connect so we can register for them for FBLA at the state national office. So you just click on members and then you can start adding the members. You need their full names, email addresses, and the grade that they're in. And then you also have to pay those fees before you can go into Blue Panda. So you would want to probably hop on getting those membership fees and students registered as soon as possible. Once you have that part done, we can skip into Blue Panda. You can actually log in with your FBLA Connect account. The thing that tripped me up as a new advisor is I didn't realize we had to change from the national office. There's a little drop-down box, change to Wisconsin FBLA. And then at that point, you can start adding students to events. And there's a little guide on there that tells you if there's problems with your registration and what the next steps are, and then you just submit it. As far as payment, you can pay both of those by credit card, but I do believe when you pay through Blue Panda, Jen, please correct me if I'm wrong. Blue Panda, the credit card, there are no fees, but with FBLA Connect, I believe there are fees. No fees with either?
No fees with either. So
Okay.
national office covers credit card fees for the membership side of life, and Wisconsin FBLA covers the fees when you register for like a regional state conference, all that
With
good
your
stuff.
credit card. So if you want to avoid the purchase order, go ahead and just avoid that purchase order and just each school is going to have unique ways on how you're supposed to do that as far as the money goes. But in my school, I ask for the activities credit card and I just make that happen. So, but yes, first FBLA Connect, add your members, and then go into Blue Panda. You'll see a listing of the events. You can add students to those events. It's pretty easy once you get into it. You just have to remember to change to Wisconsin FBLA for those regional and state events.
Eric, are you planning on going to WFLC?
Probably not, I don't think.
Okay. Well, if you wanted to see what we meant by the Wisconsin FBLA dropdown, if you go in like you're going to register for WFLC, that's all through Blue Panda, and you would be able to see that drop down just for what Connie is talking about there. Okay. All right. So RLC Logistics. So this is pretty much the details, whether it is middle school or high school. So the cost is $25 per person, and that includes advisors and chaperones. So anyone that is attending must pay the $25 fee. If you want your materials shipped, it's a $30 fee. And you must bring your own devices. So if you are planning to present, you need to have your own projector. I'm not sure what the middle school is as far as that goes.
Middle school has no projector as well, but you can have a laptop sized external monitor that you can face towards the judge and with your own like Chromebook or laptop facing towards you.
And that's the same for the high school. There's actually some now that are actually allowing you to bring in a cell phone, especially like for like mobile application. Like you need to be able to see that it works. No certificates are printed anymore. What will happen is the host will send you a template with the signatures of the state officers or who is the host. And then if you want to print them for your students, you get to do that at your own location. RLC does take place on whatever scheduled date, regardless of snow, cold, winds, bus breakdown. It's that day, no matter what. Dress code. Nobody likes dress code. It's a pain, but there is a lovely link here that will take us to the dress code and just making sure. I just try to get my girls to wear pants. I really do, to avoid the short skirts and that sort of thing. But
And it is really, I'm sorry, Kelly, I'm gonna interrupt you, but it's
Go
really
ahead.
hard. I hope I see you're getting to the unacceptable items. Look at those items,
yes,
like, because there's gray areas in this, like, what is this okay? If it's not one of those items that's not acceptable, I think the judges
It's
get
good.
to, yeah, it's good.
It's good.
So kids don't have to get carried away, just no denim or shorts or any of those things. So if it's not acceptable, then it's not okay, but otherwise it probably is.
That's pretty much how it ran that way last year. All right. All right. No calculators are allowed. With all the tests being online, that's all part of the system. Prejudged projects are not available to students or judges when they present. So they would have to bring additional materials or print it out again if they wanted to show the judges. If you want to take notes for you're doing a math calculator or business calculations, which I don't even know is an event anymore, but if you needed a pencil, that's your responsibility. I know that Connie is for the middle school guaranteeing well, I don't know about guaranteeing, but she's anticipating that she will have Wi-Fi for everyone.
Yes.
But Wi-Fi is really only guaranteed at any of the regionals for specific events, and that those events you'll see a list of those.
Yeah. So just look at the event guidelines and you'll know whether or
Correct.
not it's going to be available or if it might be available. So just have students be prepared to not have the Wi-Fi because they may or may not have access.
And what we mean by that is download the slides so that it's not using Wi-Fi prior to competing. That's usually the best method for that. All right.
All right.
wanna
So
do-
yep, I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in. So middle school students do not need to qualify to attend SLC. But they do, I make my kids do it regardless. I make them do regionals because we're the regional host and I make them do it. But they don't have to do that to qualify for state. Schools who attend must have one chaperone for every 12 students. And I'll be honest, I don't know how South does it, but North, if you have a chaperone that's coming with your kids, don't be surprised if they get asked to be a room monitor or something like that, because we need lots of volunteers. So if you're not able to stay for closing, just like you said, if you want to have your awards and at regionals, we just have medals. There's a $30 fee paid to the host school. And like I said, internet will likely be available, but it's only guaranteed for designated events. So don't plan on it. Don't count on it, I should say.
All right. So high school side of things, there's a few other things. Your competitors need to have a photo ID. That can be a school ID or a driver's license. My tip is what I did is I actually had them all email me or put it in a Google Drive. Like I gave them the link and said, take a picture of your ID and put it into this drive, because inevitably on the day of regionals, there's going to be someone or multiple that will forget it. And then you're scrambling, trying to get that little itty bitty picture of them from Power School or Skyward or whatever you use to use as that photo ID. So that way, in case, I've got a backup. That's what I've done at least. In case you don't know what regional, you are assigned, that is linked in this slideshow. We do have a chaperone policy as well, but we are older, so we get to take 15 to 1 versus 12. However, being at the high school level, we have more prejudged events that there's the potential that you could have 45 students registered, but only 20 are attending. And so if it was 45, you would be responsible for bringing 1, 2, 3, I believe, 3 chaperones. But then when it would get down to 20, you would need to only bring 2. So, but you would only be allowed to do that if you completed the chaperone override form. So that's the only way that that happens. I have used it because I don't have a lot of parents that actually help out. I have my go-to person who's a chaperone. I'm sorry?
Oh, sorry, that was just one of the other teachers.
So that's the chaperone override. Connie, I think this is you.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I started talking without my microphone on. So for middle level, there's just a quick note on some new type of events. So there's prejudge events. So these there's no objective test like there is at high school. So you'll just do the prepared event in advance of regionals and then do the event at state, proctored at state. So for regionals, the advisor will find a proctor and that person will be sent the required information, including the instructions on how to submit the file. So you do not have to attend RLC. I guess attendance at RLC isn't required anyhow, but again, the students always benefit from participating at regionals. So SLC proctored on site. There's a guide coming out. I'm excited to see it. And then kind of on the flip side of the same coin, business ethics doesn't have a presentation at RLC, but does have an objective test. So they'll just test at RLC and then at state they'll test and have a presentation for that event. So it's kind of the opposite way.
All right. So now we go into the whole prejudged tests at the high school level. What I have here is, so when I thought that we were going to be going into separate rooms, I just linked my second slide deck for the high school information onto this where it says prejudged tests. But these tests, what will happen is very similar. You will have to get a proctor that is not yourself. You cannot be the one in charge of overseeing these tests and giving them the passwords, username and passwords. There is a window of time that happens. It's usually as soon as you get back from Christmas break. And then it's maybe a 10-day window that it's kind of open that you're allowed to get that testing in. There is no extensions again because of weather. So if there is a snow day or whatever, you kind of want to try to do it earlier so that you have time to back that up in case. And you always have some students that are going to be sick. So that gives them that opportunity as well. So I'm just gonna click into this then. And I literally just kind of copied. So here, again, getting those competitor IDs. And then, so on this slide, it'll take you directly to the prejudged information, presentations, or the objective tests. I'm going to go to the presentations because with the presentations, I also put a little bit of what the topic was with this. So this is maybe a little bit easier to kind of see all of the different. If it is blank, that's because it is personal. So a career portfolio, there is no topic. The topic is you. So, and you can scroll through, they're in alphabetical order. Some of them are very tiny, and I realize that, but that was, you needed that minimal to be able to get that. With that being said, I'm going to just so sales presentation, so you get to choose a product. Social media strategy. I guess there's one more thing I should really bring in. I didn't make a separate slide, but in the high school, there are 9th and 10th grade only events. Anything that begins with an intro, they only compete against 9th and 10th graders. So that is something to consider. I have had students that are like, hey, I want to do sports and entertainment management as a freshman. And I try to kind of say, well, I'm happy to let you do that. However, you're going to be competing against 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. What if we try an intro event this year, and then you're only competing against 9th and 10th grade? That's one, but again, it's really up to anyone that, what their philosophy is with that. These are then the objective tests that are taken at RLC. So they need to be in attendance, and as well as the presentation events. Any questions about I mean, this is a long list, and there's many documents out there on the state. There's the sign up form. You can go to the competitive events guidelines to get everything. But these are, like I said, just kind of broken down into those 3 categories. The last thing that I did was like how to prepare for objective tests. Last year, FBLA really did a great job with updating the guidelines. And so over here on the middle of the screen where it says knowledge area, all of these bullet points are topics that the test is going to cover. The graph on the right tells you how many questions per category. So legal system is going to have 20 questions. Business organization looks like 15. Contracts and sales is 15. So right there, you've got 50 questions in these first 3 topics. So my suggestion is that you can create with ChatGPT or whichever AI you want to use these knowledge areas and ask ChatGPT to create a multiple choice test with 20 questions on legal systems. And you can say for a high school level, or you can make it, but this gives them a way to practice. And I would give that information to your students. You shouldn't have to be the one in charge of creating all of those for them. But that is one thing that I tell and I demonstrate with my chapter to help get them, because usually they'll be struggling a little bit with that. And this has been a godsend for at least giving them what they should. In the past, we've given old textbooks. I mean, that's not exactly the best for them. All right. So is that, I do want to go into Connect and show you. I want to say like a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, FBLA. Oh no, please don't. Oh, hang on. FBLA Nationals just updated their what is it called? I'm losing my brain right now. We'll come back to it in a second. It's exactly where we're going. So once you are logged in to Connect, if you click on, or don't click, but hover over More, and now click on Files, you can see that there are a bunch of different tabs that you can click on. You want to click on the Shared by National Office, and then you're going to scroll on down, and you can see that there are down here the collegiate prep resources. There's high school prep resources and middle school prep resources. So it'll give sample objective tests, it'll give sample production tests, even sample role plays for your students to try. So here's the accounting sample question. The thing that I like is they used to only do like 10 questions, 30 questions. Now it's 50, which is huge. And then the answer key is there for the students as well. So again, a great resource. I can tell you that there have been times that I've given these sample questions to my students and they're like, Ms. Fain, they asked those same questions. And I was like, well, yeah, that was so cool. And I was like, okay, but it's helpful. So other than that, Connie, do you have any other resources that you
I did create
suggest?
a slideshow. Excuse me. I posted the link in the chat. Actually, I can't say I created it. I let Gamma create it for me. But it is also divided up in a similar way with the objective tests, with the presentation and the pre-judge events. The only thing that I would add is that if you're looking at the event guidelines, use the ones from the state, because sometimes when you look at the ones from national, it doesn't include the state, what it's going to look like at state. So use the state website instead of the national FBLA website for that resource. I figured out that I had an issue last year at regionals with one of my kids, and it really kind of unfortunately bit that student in the backside. So make sure you're checking the state, not the national website.
Absolutely. Wisconsin, we are pretty big sticklers for the rules.
So thankfully it was just regionals middle level, so not a huge deal again. So, but it was still, a lost opportunity.
Right. Eric, any questions?
Not at this point. I think, once I get kids interested and see who's wanting to sign up for what, I might have some questions, but for now I'm good.
All right, well, I'm Kelly Main. I'm actually in Chilton and at a high school. So you can reach out to me if it's high school related.
Yeah, and I'm Connie. I know it says Constance, but I'm middle level. I exclusively middle level and a middle level regional host. So I'm very passionate about middle level kids and know some of the challenges that come with the excitement that comes from a very enthusiastic group of sixth graders that are all of a sudden figuring out everything all at once. So, but no, you can reach out to me. My email is there. I will get back to you. I promise. It might take some time though.
I totally understand. It's busy for all of us.
Oh, yeah. And I have hosted multiple regionals, so I do have a pretty good handle on that as well. So again, reach out. More than happy to help you.
Well, I certainly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
No
No,
problem.
thank
Thank
you.
you. And hopefully we made your last half an hour go fast.
You did. You did.
Awesome. All right.